Before this video gets underway, in about 2.5 hours from this video's upload time, we will be live on YouTube. We're celebrating the 2024 NHL Draft Lottery by reacting to it live as it happens, and hanging out a bunch before the actual event goes down. We'll be reading the chat, we'll be answering some questions, we'll be hanging out, opening a bunch of hockey cards. I said this in the first video, I'll say it again, that I kind of wanted to open these on stream just so I could use the cost for them as a tax write-off. That's how you gotta do it, baby. But either way, hang out with us later today. I do these streams once in a while, and they're always a blast. It's all up on the channel at 2:30 p.m. PST. Now, getting into today's video, speaking about PST, we gotta talk about the team on the Pacific, my favorite Vancouver Canucks squad, and one of the trades that has really come to light as being a dub. This was huge. And when it comes to the trade itself, it was kind of circulating on social media the past few days, especially with the emergence, the crazy spotlight, and the stepping up to the plate that we had seen on Arturs Silovs. Because when it comes to Silovs and his role with the Vancouver Canucks right now, he is essentially the most valuable addition in the past few days here. Not only because he is a guy who was not really supposed to be playing at all in the 2024 playoffs, but he's a guy who's played very well. 1 shutout, a .938 save percentage in 3 games played, a .170 goals against average in the games that he had against the Nashville Predators. The only game that he lost was off of a very odd goal where he kind of got pushed in, so I'm not going to go out there and fault him for that loss there. But Arturs Silovs has himself a spotlight, and if he goes and starts out against the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow on Wednesday to kick off the second round series between the Canucks and Edmonton, then that pretty much spells where Rick Tocchet and the Canucks coaching staff have Silovs on the depth chart. Right now, he is number 1. Of course, though, if DeSmith starts tomorrow, then that entire conversation goes down the drain. But Arturs Silovs, still at 23 years old, is already such a stable NHL goaltender, a guy who's got ice in his veins. He doesn't let the pressure get to him. He won a medal for Team Latvia in Latvia at the World Championships, was the MVP of the World Championships that year, and did so at the ripe old age of 22 years old. How's that for a guy going out there and being the legitimate tournament star in front of his hometown fans? This is a player who just steps up in big moments, and it's not like he was making some incredible saves against Nashville. Like, it's not like he had to make any highlight reel, #1 save of the week kind of saves, but the Canucks defense, the way they play in front of him, how he's able to make those stable shots, not go in, and just consistently be in the right place. Arturs Silovs has been a huge gem, and somebody that would normally, upon being thrusted into these situations, would be terrible. Like your third string goalie, your AHL starter, stepping into the playoffs against the best, hottest team in the NHL to end off the regular season in Nashville. Like, sure, you could say the series was played poorly or badly or whatever by either the Canucks or the Predators, but still, Silovs went in and he was good. And when it comes to this entire conversation as to why Silovs' name is trending, it's because of the trade. Take a look at this tweet made by Pete Edwards. Pretty simple. This tweet got 200,000 views, but it says this: good trade. On January 2nd, 2019, the Vancouver Canucks acquired Mike McKenna, Tom Pyatt, and a 6th round pick in the 2020 draft in exchange for Darren Archibald and Anders Nilsson. Now, this trade is a very special one to me, and the reason for that is because I actually called it. The video on the top that you're seeing was published on December 31st, 2018, and the video right underneath it was published 2 days later on January 2nd, and yeah, I kinda called it. Anders Nilsson got traded from the Vancouver Canucks, and Mike McKenna was the guy coming in. He was pretty much extra depth as a goalie. Tom Pyatt was attached to the trade too. Yeah, when was the last time you heard that name? But in this trade, the Vancouver Canucks acquired a 6th round pick from the Ottawa Senators, which was used to select Arturs Silovs. Now, we can talk about the ins and outs and all the assets involved that are still relevant. I mean, Darren Archibald was a guy that a lot of Canucks fans had somewhat high hopes for because he was a really good Utica Comet. He was physical, he could rack up some points here and there, and he had a cup of coffee, I'm pretty sure, with the Canucks in 2018-19, but he just wasn't good enough to really stick around. They traded him away. Anders Nilsson was a huge goalie, but he wasn't all too fantastic. Mike McKenna coming into the Canucks system, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember if he played for Vancouver. Let's go out there and check the Elite Prospects page here. Yeah, no, Mike McKenna with the Vancouver Canucks in 2018-19 played 0 games. Yeah, no, my memory did serve me correctly. He did not play. And the funny part is about this entire conversation about the trade, Mike McKenna, Tom Pyatt, and Silovs for Archibald and Nielsen, was that you actually had McKenna himself go out there and respond saying, yeah, no, this trade was definitely a good trade. Because the Vancouver Canucks, not only did they get themselves Silovs, who, 5 years after the trade, is now such a clutch story in the 2024 playoffs, but because the Canucks also got me, Mike McKenna himself. And Jonathan Wall actually goes out there and replies with a very interesting piece of information. I believe this trade happened when the teams were playing each other in Ottawa, but both players needed different work permits, so it caused some challenges, even though the gear just moved right across the hall. And this also was something that I think was apparent there as well. Like, the Canucks were on some sort of a road trip, because when Anders Nilsson played his last game for the Canucks and he was really bad and we made that video, oh, should he get traded? They were playing the Devils, I'm pretty sure. And then they played Ottawa next. Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened. I just went over to Wikipedia. Yes, on the 31st, it was New Jersey, 4-0 shutout, and Anders Nilsson was not great. And then 2 days later, that is when you saw the swap happen. Markstrom ended up playing the next 6 games for the Vancouver Canucks after Anders Nilsson was traded. And then you had Demko in there, and then Markstrom, DiPietro got a shot too. It was kind of weird seeing what happened with the Canucks and their results in this time frame. But Jacob Markstrom was the guy. Thatcher Demko was in the pipeline. Now Thatcher Demko is on the IR. And ultimately, the star-studded asset in this trade, an innocuous swap on January 2nd, 2019, happens to be that 6th-round pick because it turned into Arturs gosh darn Silovs. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say, oh yeah, it's a trade McKenna and Silovs for Archibald and Nielsen. It's not like that. It's straight up just the pick itself. Like, we're not going to attach any players to it, but it's what the Canucks did with that pick that makes the pick special, because the Canucks might not have been able to draft Silovs if they had not had this pick at their disposal. You could very well say that. So this, of course, was a wonderful opportunity and an even more wonderful result that the Canucks had gotten out of that trade and that draft pick. It just goes to show the importance of building a good scouting community and trusting your guys, trusting that your scouts have it right, trusting that your scouts know what they're doing, and having your scouts believe in these players so much. So for Artur Silovs, I mean, hey, this is the ultimate test, right? Jim Benning might have just made himself a gem of a draft pick and trade combination with this selection here in 2019, and I think we should not be taking that for granted, because without it, who knows what would have happened now? Who knows? Like, would the Canucks have signed another guy to play in Abbotsford, and that guy would have been called up to be the main dude now? Would they have seen somebody like Martin Jones or something in Vancouver? Who really knows? But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below about this being the most underrated Jim Benning trade ever, and how it's been the most rewarding, pretty much, too, in this time and space. Actually, no, the most rewarding Jim Benning trade. Is it the JT Miller trade? Yeah, no, I think that one's actually really good, too. Okay, no, I don't know. Maybe value for value, it's actually the Silovs trade, but either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Check out our YouTube channel here at 2:30 PST for the draft lottery stream, that should be. I know a lot of Canucks fans don't really care about the draft lottery anymore because, hey, guess what? We're not in it, baby. We don't even have our 1st-round pick anymore. It's in Calgary, so who really knows? But still, there's no Canucks hockey on today. Spend some time hanging out with us because we will be cheering on the Montreal Canadiens, I guess. Or the Red Wings. Yeah, no, lots of teams will be deciding their fate here at the draft lottery, but still, feel free to check us out. Thoughts in the comment section below about this video on Silovs as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.